Hi, I'm Daniel Fisher here at Sweetwater Sound, and today we're going to talk about expression pedals, and in particular, how do you make it work with the keyboard or synthesizer that you have. To be clear, what I'm talking about when I say expression pedal is something like this that goes up and down, and it typically ends in a TRS tip ring sleeve 1/4-inch connector. And of course, this will only work if your keyboard has a jack that says expression in it. It usually won't work if you put it into a jack that says switch, because it's only expecting 2 connectors and then on and off, and it's not expecting something like this. So you plug the plug into the expression jack, you're all excited, you put your foot on the pedal, you play, you move the pedal, nothing happens. Why? Here's the problem. If the company sets the jack to be expression or master volume, and you don't own a pedal, then you turn the keyboard on and it's silent, and then that's a big problem. So they tend to not assign it to something, or assign it to something that won't cause trouble if you don't have that pedal in there. So that means that you usually have to do the assigning yourself. So I brought several different kinds of keyboards to show you different ways that you can connect the expression pedal to whatever parameter it is you want the expression pedal to do. And we're first starting here with a Rompler, or a sample-based keyboard where the samples are stored in ROM. And so it's like a sampler, but it's in ROM, so we call it a Rompler. But that's the kind that does your strings and pianos and horns and drums and all those kind of recorded sounds. And this one, the CT-S1000V, is a real good example of a Rompler, and it does have 2 pedal inputs, and on this one, either one can be expression or a switch, which is very cool. So as I've already shown you, it doesn't work when you move the pedal, but that's because we haven't assigned it to something. So on this one, I go to a menu, and it tells me to keep going until I see pedal, and then here I can see what I can assign them to. So right now I can see that pedal 2 that I'm plugged into is tempo. So if I were to start a groove, I should be able to speed up and slow down based on where that pedal is. That's kind of an odd thing to use. So to set it to something other than what it's currently set at, which is tempo, I go to the menu, I go to where it says pedal, I can see pedal 2 is at tempo, I hit pedal 2, and now I change it to something different. So now it's master volume. So now as I play some piano, I have control over the volume. And because it's master volume, I also control any additional parts, any rhythm parts. So if I get some drums going here, and now if I back off, you're going to hear that everybody's going down together. But now I'm going to set that instead to part volume. So now the drums will stay the same, but the part will get quieter. And in the same way, I could go and change it to rhythm volume. Now it'll be backwards. Now the piano will stay the same volume, but I have control over the rhythm volume. So that's how you might do it on a Rompler. So there are lots of versions of expression pedals out there, many of which we sell. Some are very specific to a certain brand. Like, for example, if you were to get a Yamaha keyboard, I would definitely get like a Yamaha FC7. But there are other kinds that have a switch that can change to match most of the brands, regardless of what, and they call it polarity, of the wiring connection is. So for example, we have the Moog EP3 Universal Polarity Expression Pedal, and that does have a switch that'll go for either way, plus an external level adjustment. There's also the Nectar NXP Universal Expression Pedal, very similar thing. And then there's the M Audio EXP expression pedal, again with the switchable polarity. So now I have the ASM Hydrasynth, and again, I'm going to really underuse it because I'm going to go to an init. So I just have a sawtooth, and I have my expression pedal plugged in here, and I move the expression pedal, and nothing happens as expected. Why? Again, because they don't have it preset to something. That is a choice you can make. Now, in the Casio, there was a menu section in system where I went and changed what it went to. On a synthesizer as complex as this, I might have that pedal go into 10 different things, each in different amounts and different polarities. So it's a very different beast. And on this, what we use is called the modulation matrix. It's where you take a controller and you assign it to a destination, a parameter, and then you choose how much. And so I go to the mod matrix, and here I get to pick what is going to go to what. And so I go to assign, and I set that to be expression. And then where do I want it to go? Well, first I'll go just for fun to an oscillator. And right now it's set to 0. So even though I've assigned it to something, I have to say how much, right? So I'm going to turn it up some here. And now I should have a way of sweeping pitch from the pedal. And now at this point, I could leave that and do something else. But for now, let's just go ahead and do something different than pitch. So here's wave. So now, because this is a wave table synthesizer, I'm going to sweep through a bunch of different waves. Which is not very musically useful, but on the Hydrasynth, they do allow you to set 8 different waves and morph very smoothly between them. But I just wanted to show you what that might sound like. But I can do something entirely different, like if I wanted to do reverb amount. So I go reverb, instead of time, I'll make it wet dry, set an amount. When I go to minimum, I shouldn't have any reverb. Want to turn it up. But again, I said I could do multiple things. So if I wanted, I could also have expression do the pitch thing. So now as the pitch goes up, the reverb also gets deeper. I could do it backwards. I could do as the pitch goes down, it gets wetter. Or I could turn reverb up and take reverb away when the pedal goes down. And on this particular synth, what I can go to is pretty much any parameter in this synthesizer. And because there are so many pages of modulation matrix, I could have this pedal literally do 32 different things to 32 different assignments at 32 different amounts at 32 different polarities. So just tremendous power with that. And that's why it's not pre-assigned for you. All right, and last we're going to use an analog synthesizer. I'm using the beautiful Moog Matriarch. And this is a semi-modular synthesizer that involves patching. And if you look on the back, you can see the expression pedal jack has an in and then an out. So it's not connected to anything. We have to make the connection ourselves. So even though I now have an expression pedal plugged in and I have a cable coming from it, nothing's going to happen yet. And the reason is because the voltage is right here. I have to send it somewhere. So if I were to send it to the filter, for example, I could go here. Or instead of filter, I could send it to pitch. And I'll do just a pitch of one oscillator, so you'll hear it beating against the other oscillators. So I'm going to detune the bass note. And that could be really cool if I was doing oscillator sync. So another place I could put it is in the time of the delay. And this is a very cool delay in that it's an analog delay. So when I bend the time, it's going to do all that spaceship warping that I always like. But I could also do two things at the same time or more. So for example, I'm going to go into this mult here, which takes a signal and splits it into, in this case, 3. And so I'm going to go back to that delay that I had. And so I'll go into the delay time. But I'm also going to go to the filter. So now as I change the pedal, it's going to change the filter and change the delay time. Now instead of changing the delay time, I'll change the filter and the pitch of one of the oscillators. So you can see there's lots of possibilities for an expression pedal. You just need to go to the owner's manual, make sure you have the right pedal, put it into the right place, and then assign it to the thing you want the expression pedal to move based on what you read in the owner's manual. If you have any further questions about the Casio, the Hydrasynth, or the Moog Matriarch, please contact your Sweetwater sales engineer. My name is Daniel Fisher. Thank you very much for watching.